and not just an IT person, an IT genius.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I try to be.
Well, I think what would work for me is get the business account for the new computer here,
Yeah.
and then continue to use my Mac for personal and fun and everything else, and just really limit, and which is the whole reason why I wanted to go down this rabbit hole to begin with, was a single device that can be the work device, that when I'm doing this, I'm working, and then I have other places for those other things. So this sounds like the upgrade to the Google Workspace business would be money well spent.
Awesome. Let's go through some of the other things that I think make it a real obvious winner for you. Now, one of those is when you've got your Mac sitting there, right, and you're away from your Chrome device. So here, you can click your face in the top right-hand corner on Chrome. Make sure you're signed in with what will be your business account. And if you need help migrating the data from what's in your Gmail account now over into a business account, that's what our team do. They have a migration service, and we can chat about that offline. But once you're signed into this account, just like it works with the consumer account, it's going to synchronize everywhere you go. So on your Chromebook, your open tabs if you want it to, but your favorites, your plugins, your saved passwords, saved payment information, all that kind of stuff, history will all synchronize to your desktop machine. So if you're sitting at your office desk or your desk in your studio there, you might say, hey, you know what? I was looking at that article on my laptop an hour ago. You can go ahead and jump into your history and immediately open that up, which is nice. It also means that if you have your laptop fall out your car window or something, or leave it on a bus or a train, then all of your data is synchronized to your Google account. You buy a new device, you log in, boom, you've got everything there immediately. And that's one of the beautiful things about Chrome. You mentioned, hey, it's got this small hard drive. Like, is that going to be a problem or not? Typically, most people find that they start working more and more in the cloud and online using Google document formats, using online services like maybe Canva instead of a local image editing software. Video editing still works better on a local device, but I'd hope that's the kind of thing that you look at delegating to someone else to take care of for you. It's a nice, it kind of forces you to delegate using a simpler machine. And then you end up in a situation where it's like, well, what do I actually need a big hard drive for? Well, I'm not downloading movies to this thing because I'm just getting work done on it. All my emails are sitting in Gmail online. I don't have 10 years worth of emails that need to download to MacMail like they might if you're using a computer. So everything kind of lives online, and therefore it doesn't have much need for storage on the local device.
This is good.
Yeah.
So let's say that I want to get the workspace for business. Do I want to create a brand new account on that, or do I want to use an existing account that's now a personal account and upgrade that to a business account? And what would be how should I think through whether I create something fresh versus continue with something I already have and improve on it?
Good question. That's a simple one to answer. If you currently have a Gmail account, it cannot be converted to a business workspace account.
Yeah, problem solved.
Problem solved.
Great.
I wish it could. It would make everyone's life a bit easier. I mean, it would mean I probably don't have all that much business in migrations anymore, but there's no immediate pathway for doing that. There may be for the weird users in the UK who have access to that workspace individual plan. I heard of that happening, but I don't know if that ever happened or not. But what I do know is typically if someone's using a Gmail account right now, it's mostly personal with maybe a little bit of business. If they have been using it hardcore for business and there's a lot of business history in there, certainly take a copy of the data and migrate it into your business account when you first start the business account, and then leave the rest there in the Gmail, continue to operate it as your personal space, and then the business account you would use for all of your business data moving forward. Now, migration tools and migration pathways to doing that. There is a built-in tool to the admin panel which will allow you to do that. So inside the admin panel, when you set up an email account, you can actually use the migration tool, data migration. Here we go. There's a built-in tool. It's not the best tool out there. We use a number of other tools with our team because we do this as a service and we do it for thousands of mailboxes every year. But this one does work okay. So that's one option if you want to DIY. Otherwise, you engage a partner like us and you say, hey guys, help me move from here to there, and we'll do a data check and make sure it comes across perfectly and do it at the right time so there's no downtime and all those other things. That's the reason you pay a consultant to do it. But you do that once, and then you use your new business account from here forward with the domain name, and that might involve sending an email out to your customers saying, hey, here's my new email address. Please use this one from now forward.
Okay. I also have the YouTube account,
yes,
which is attached to its own Gmail account. If I create a business account, brand new, can I then make that new business account control my existing YouTube channel?
Excellent question. Yep. So one, especially for the creators, if you own a YouTube account, there's actually two ways of doing permissions. So the standard way of doing permissions is, I think, what you get by default now if you're a new YouTuber. I'll show this just in case you've converted to these kind of permissions, but they basically sit inside of YouTube Studio here. You can't transfer an account ownership from here if your permissions are inside of YouTube permissions, but you can push the account back to the old way of doing it. The old way of doing it, you'll see here, there's even a button to go back to managing permissions in your brand account, opt out of permissions in YouTube Studio, right? So you click that button and you go to something called a brand account.
And that would be my business account, my workspace account that I've just now created.
Well, it's actually a third entity.
There's more.
Brand account is your YouTube identity, your YouTube channel identity, and that can be switched between multiple people because the YouTube identity is separate from your individual user Gmail identity. Now, depending on how old it is, they might be named the same, but using this method, you should be able to switch them and separate them out. So for example, the IT Genius brand account here, so it's currently connected to our YouTube Studio, so I can't edit that one, but let me find another one that I can edit. Here we go, cool. So I can go to manage permissions, and if of course it's gonna ask me to double check, it's really me. Thanks, Google. Thanks for keeping me so secure.
Good. So while we're waiting for Google there, this raises the question, there's a lot going on here. And so if I need some help in making all of these things connect, do you know anybody, Peter?
Do I know anybody? Great. I am so glad you asked. That's what our concierge service does. So if you go to IT Genius, if you just need help with one thing, you can get a quick fix. So that's like one ticket, one issue. Our team are available instantly during business hours. You just chat to them, say, hey, I want a quick fix. And then someone will help diagnose and then jump on a call with you. You check out and then they'll jump on a call with you immediately or a Google Hangout or whatever and get it fixed, right? If you think you need more than one thing sorted out per quarter, it makes more per quarter or like more than one thing per month, then it makes sense to sign up to Concierge. It's a per monthly fee. And with that per monthly fee, you get all you can eat access to our team. So that's help desk, consulting, support for all these apps, backups, training, support, anything you need, that's all included as part of Concierge. And that starts at $250 per month.
And could I do that for like 3 months just to kind of hold my hand through this transition?
Yeah, I would recommend if you need to do a migration, you just purchase a migration, and that includes 3 months of the transition and helping you manage that change. Yeah, but if you just need a migration done, you can talk to the team and just get a migration done.
And so migration would include helping me get my YouTube channel connected and all of the, that sounds probably that's the way to go right there.
That would be YouTube, Google Analytics, moving across any other Googly type services. The team will check anything else connected to your account, like an old, Google My Business page, maybe you've got a local page with your ratings from customers and those kind of things. So just to tie off this one, and there's a question from the live audience as well, which I'm going to come to. When you have a brand account, so this is where your YouTube channel lives, You can choose a new owner. Once you've invited someone, you've got to wait a week. But after you've invited someone, you can choose for them to be the new owner. So what you do is you would elevate your business account to an owner, wait 1 week, and then change them to the primary owner. And the business account is now the primary owner of your YouTube channel.
Okay, that would clean up so much with
Yeah, makes it very easy.
I started with Mac. My Google account email is actually my Mac email that I originally signed up for, like a Gmail with 10 years ago. So this would clean this up dramatically.
Okay, that's another account type yet again. So we have business accounts, which is your own domain name. You have @gmail.com accounts, and then you have, we'll call them like Google registered accounts, which is if you signed up to YouTube more than 5 years ago, you would get a Google registered account. That sounds like that's what we have. So it's a Google identity. You will 100% have a brand account attached to that. And if you go to, I think the URL was, it's myaccount.google.com/brand accounts. You'll probably, it's probably not that useful for you to go there now, but
Good. You got it on
case, that's where the actual identity is for the brand account. But interestingly, when you go to YouTube with your business account, because you might be wondering, well, how do I get like your edit team to post videos to your channel once you've got the new channel set up, right? And so there's an important thing when you have this brand account. You'll see here, if I click onto switch accounts, so I've got my IT Genius account here, which is the YouTube identity. It's like that's the YouTube brand account. But then I have my Peter Moriarty identity. So that's actually my Peter Moriarty business account. peter@itgenius.com is my email address. And that's actually my business account there. But because I'm attached to a brand account, I'm the admin or the owner of a brand account, that also lives down there as the identity that I can switch into. It also means stuff that I watch on my YouTube account doesn't impact, the recommendations and stuff on the channel, because otherwise my team would log in and, oh, what's this? What, V8 burnouts for 10 minutes, Anyway, so so that keeps it nice and separate too. It also means if you've got multiple channels, you can have multiple channels there. So that keeps it nice and tidy.
Also nice.
All right.
I think that the migration package would be the best way for me to move forward, because I'm going to have lots of very specific questions about, here are the accounts that I own, thinking of URLs and how I want to set this up, what I have so far, what I would like to have. Having somebody that could walk me through the specifics of what I need for my account, I think that would be really helpful.
Great. That's exactly what we do. So no issue at all. Our team will connect with you. We're soon to launch these on the site, so you can quote them yourself and go ahead. But let me tell you, it's very affordable for sole traders. Where it's sub $1,000, it may even be close to half that, and you're paying in US dollars, so you get more Australian dollars for every US dollar. We have a terrible exchange rate at the moment, so you'll get a
koala bear. That counts for a lot right there.
Well, I don't have the pricing public on the site right now, but we will soon, and of course I'll send that through to you. But we'll get you hooked up with the team to formally quote that and check we're managing everything there. But the process of the migration is, do you already have a domain name that you own?
I do. I have one .com and I have some other stuff, but I think I would want to use that .com as the primary.
Perfect. Great. So you can add as many domains as you like. You only pay per mailbox, or I like to call it per bucket of mail. Okay. So you'll have your Todd at yourdomain.com, and whatever else you want to send to that as an alias is free. You just pay for that one Todd at bucket of email. You can even send from multiple email addresses if you want, and you still only pay per user, per bucket of email. I'll show you what that looks like in mine, just if you're interested to see. It'll probably look pretty similar to your Mac email. I go to send an email, and I can choose the from address. Some of these are on different domain names. Some of them are just alias addresses for my main address.
Perfect.
Wait, there's more. Catch part 4 with Todd.